La. 8:38. Good morning. Welcome to the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. Taking a quick look at your ride this morning. We have no new incidents. Checked in with CHP. The 5 and the 14 completely wide open in the southbound direction, as are local roads, including Sierra Highway, Via Princesa, Soledad. All looking good right now. We're in good shape.
Taking a look at your hometown station weather. Temperatures today here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Highs in the 90s. Mostly sunny skies. Overnight lows in the 50s. Current temp story?
Looking at 69 right here in Newhall.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Good morning. 8:38 coming up on 8:39 on this Thursday. And on the line, we have a very special guest, Jodi Daylai from Henry Mayo. Good morning, Jodi.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Tori.
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us, because we have to talk about something very, very, very super duper important, and that is diabetes. And from what I understand, now I'm fortunate enough not to be in that range, thank goodness. However, I'm hearing it's becoming more and more and more common. So can you speak to that, Jodi?
Yeah, I mean, it is true, and I feel like, sometimes we're just bringing this up every other month, every year we're hearing diabetes is on the rise, but it is true that 1 out of 3 people in the U.S. Have pre-diabetes, and most of those people don't know it. We're going to see diabetes continue to increase over the next 10 to 20 years, unfortunately. So it's really important. Henry Mayo and our community education department's really committed to helping people who've been diagnosed manage their diabetes, which is completely possible. But we're also really focused on preventing diabetes.
So you brought up like a buzzword kind of thing that we're hearing a lot lately, pre-diabetes, pre-diabetic. What is the difference between being pre and full-on diabetic?
So the diagnosis is really, the difference is based on what your blood sugar numbers are averaging. So the pre-diabetes range of blood sugars, there's a typical test that adults, usually get maybe once a year, depending on your risk, when you go get your physical, and it's called the hemoglobin A1C, and that gives an average of what your blood sugars have been running. So as your blood sugars may start to come up over time, you might find yourself in the pre-diabetes range, which would be 5.7 to 6.4. Once someone's hemoglobin A1C is at 6.5, then that person would be diagnosed as having diabetes. But when we get in that 5.7 to 6.4 range, it's a really great opportunity to realize something's going on. Our body's not able to regulate our blood sugars as well as it did before, and it's a chance to really look at what lifestyle change will make a difference. And what we really know, because of research and because of the program we offer, the Diabetes Prevention Program, which comes out of research from the CDC, is that lifestyle change works. That can help people lower their blood sugars, control their blood sugars, and really put off diabetes for years.
Okay, give us some help. Let's say we had our sugar measured. Now, there's another test, Jodi, help me out here. There's another test that I know that they take with your finger, not the A1C that you were just talking about, but
you can get like a fasting blood draw or just a general blood draw, which is going to tell you, like right now, what's your blood sugars, right? So that is often used as well.
And it's based on, because you were talking about like 6.5 being the cutoff, but I also, the other one measures like under 100 or something, like if it's under 100, is it the same type of test that you're talking about?
So they're just different. So the A1C is average of your blood sugars over a 2 to 3 month period, whereas just a one-time blood draw is telling you in that moment what's your blood sugars. And when we're looking at fasting, generally when we get over of 120 is when we might be concerned about diabetes. But once we get over 100, that's also when we're concerned about that pre-diabetes range.
Gotcha. Okay. So there are a couple of different tests. And so let's say we now are dipping a toe in the shallow end of the pre-diabetes. What do we do immediately?
Well, we'd love for you to join our diabetes prevention program. This is, like I said, evidence-based, and it works. Research shows people delay onset of diabetes by over 58% for a 3-year period. So it's really, really effective. And it's based on lifestyle. It's based on increasing physical activity, working on stress management, improving nutrition, right? So these are the bread and butter of what keeps our body healthy, not just for diabetes, but for blood pressure, for a whole host of health issues that come up over time. But when we start to address that, move more, eat a little better, lose a little weight, blood sugars respond, blood pressure responds, cholesterol responds. It all gets better. And we see this with literally every single participant we've had over the past few years.
It's all linked, isn't it? I mean, it's just all linked together. All of these things, we can do ourselves so much good by just eating right. So much easier said than done. We should eat right, and we should exercise on a regular basis. And how does drinking and smoking factor in?
Well, those are certainly kind of the number one places to start. I'm glad you mentioned that because, if someone is drinking alcohol to excess, if someone's smoking, those are definitely the places we want to address first and foremost. I would say mainly because, of course, it can cause an immediate health concern, right? It can cause something really drastic to take place at any point. So we want to address those. They're affecting our cardiovascular system. They're impairing our body's ability to stay healthy, whether it's our immune system, inflammation. So smoking and excessive alcohol intake are critical to address right away.
And Jodi, let me interrupt you for just a second.
Yeah.
When we talk about smoking, we're not just talking about cigarettes. What about the vaping issue? Because that's huge right now. Is that included?
So I will definitely say. So I can't necessarily say I can direct people to research regarding blood sugars or blood pressure, but we know vaping affects the lungs very similarly to smoking, and I can tell you that Henry Mayo saw that very much in how we have had to address COVID patients over the past few years, and that vaping patients often found themselves in similar situations to a cigarette smoker as far as how it affected their lungs and how they could deal with COVID. So we know it's affecting the body's ability to get oxygen the way our body is supposed to. And all of these things, when we're taking in foreign substances to our body that our body has to deal with, make it hard to heal, to help our immune system stay ready to fight an intruder, whatever that intruder might be.
We don't like intruders, Jodi. We don't. They're no good for us.
It's true.
It's true. Now, Jodi,
but, there's lots of good things for you, and we really try to, like you mentioned earlier, right? It's easy to say something like move more and eat healthy, and I'm a dietitian, so I'm talking about these things every day, and I know it's easier said than done. So we are here to walk you through the steps day in and day out to move the needle, to get to the health goals you have. That's really what we're trained to do, and we're here to support whether it's a new health challenge or you're pre-diabetic or have diabetes.
And I'm going to take a leap and ask, you do start out slow, because I think a lot of people get really nervous about changing a lifestyle. So I'm assuming that this program starts you out a little bit on the slow side so you can get used to changes and actually put them to use in your everyday life. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, we know from research that drastic measures don't typically work, right? So the research out of the CDC in diabetes prevention, what's so amazing is it initially started in the late 90s that diabetes delaying onset came from a 5% weight loss. And what they've noticed now after this program has been around, getting close to 30 years, is that actually if you lose 4% of your body weight, you do just as good of a job. And you pair that with 150 minutes of exercise a week, and you break 150 minutes down over a 7-day week, that's not adding that much exercise. It's a lot to change maybe in 1 week for a person, but it's probably not a lot to work on over a 6-month period.
And if you're pre-diabetic, now is the time to make those changes. And
exactly.
And so we can do that. So it's kind of like the pre-diabetes thing is kind of like, okay, we had your fun. Now we have to start. Now we've got to start getting serious. And it gives you a little bit of time, a little bit of a ramp up in order to do this. Jodi, if I want to be a part of this program that you're talking about at Henry Mayo, where do I get more information?
Yeah, so henrymayo.com is the website for Henry Mayo Community Education in the hospital. You'll find us on the Henry Mayo website. Under our classes, you can look up the Diabetes Prevention Program. You can also just give us a call. We're always happy to talk people through questions they have, where their health is, and we have over 70 classes we offer in our department. So even if it's not diabetes prevention or diabetes management you're looking for, there might be some other class that we offer that you would be. So our number is 661-200-2300. You're welcome always to give us a call. You can also email us at communityeducation@henrymayo.com.
Jodi Daylai from Henry Mayo, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I always learn something when you guys call. Always. And thank you so much. I hope everyone uses that red flag to get into a better situation so we don't have full-on diabetes. It's always good to start sooner than later. Thank you, Jodi, so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry. Thanks for the time.
Live and local.